Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys all had an amazing Thanksgiving and it felt like 5 days or 10 days instead of three, and you got out and saw the lovely leaves. I know I hiked up a mountain ish hillside on Friday and it was gorgeous, and I've heard of lots of other people. And I've been Google imaging other places that other people have gone, and found some waterfalls and so forth. So I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend with family and so forth. And I feel like there's something in my teeth. Hi, Justin. So before I get into the norm, hello, I'm going to remind you of the $1,000 giveaway. So I've had a couple people message me and say, we've never bought a house from you or sold from you or whatever, and that doesn't matter. You can be anybody. You could have never watched a live before. You could not know who I am. You cannot know anything. And as long as you know our email address at info@crippshomes.com, then you can email your submission of who you would like to win $1,000 and why, again, to info@crippshomes.com. And on the first of every month, we knock on somebody's door and give them a check for $1,000. Hi, Josh. I don't know why that came up last. It showed that you came here before Justin, but anyways, hello. Are you still doing your martini lives? I hope you are having a fun, fabulous evening. So we do questions, we do real estate updates, and happy news. So first we have a question, and it came in from Christina in Horseshoe Valley. And Christina asked, hey. Sorry, I read and look at things at the same time. Christina asked, I've been to a number of your listings and follow you online. Do you stage all of your listings? And if so, where do you shop? Thank you, Christina, for asking. So I do not stage all of my listings, nor does my team. We just stage them if they would like them staged, or if we suggest that they be staged. If I had to pick one place, would be HomeSense. But we also frequent, StrucTube quite a bit. I'm glad Bouclair has reopened as well. But basically we stick to that. We're not really expensive shoppers or stagers because there's not really a point. We're not going to, doesn't make sense. So we're more of HomeSense StrucTube shoppers. But thank you for the compliment. Hello, Grimbleby. Uh-oh, you're gonna keep it clean here, Mom. You were very talkative last week. Hi, Margie. Oh, Friday, yay. And aren't you doing your drag on Halloween? If so, I will tell lots of people. Hi, Rick, because I always get questions about it when I go there. So Josh is the one that I always see in Toronto when he does his drag show. So I'm pretty sure he has one on Halloween. And he just said on Friday he's doing a martini live. So you have to stay tuned for that. It's not expensive, Grimbleby. Okay, so first we are going to the drive-in at McDonald's. I know it sounds weird. I'm sure a million of you have been to the drive-thru. I get McFlurries regularly. But the reason I am mentioning it is because it's basically just the power of social media and the internet. So there's a lady, and her name was Brittany Reed. And she got 2 kids, 4 and 7. She was having a rough day. She took them to McDonald's to make them, happy and so forth, and easier than cooking. And she got up to the front and she realized she had forgotten her purse. And Wyatt Reed, I believe, Wyatt Jones, I lied. Wyatt Jones was the teenager that was serving her. And so she's like, I totally forgot my purse. I'm so sorry, cancel that order. And he's like, oh, no problem. And he took out his wallet and swiped his debit card. And she's like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, don't worry about it. And she's like, no, like, I don't have money right now, whatever. He's like, don't worry about it. And he gave her the food and she left. And she came back later that night to give him money and had her purse, obviously. And he wouldn't take it. And then, so she posted something on social media, on her Facebook. And it said, I just want your parents to know. So this is about Wyatt Jones. And she got thousands and thousands of likes and shares and so forth. And then some people knew who he was, like from the community or whatever. And they mentioned that he was saving for a car. So Brittany started a GoFundMe account, and now there's $32,000 and change for this young man who paid for her 2 kids' McDonald's stuff. So I just like, any act of kindness, whether how big or how small, it could potentially, change your life or put a smile on somebody's face. So I just like different things like that. It's not expensive when you go with me, Grim. You would have had that money back in 1 month if you Airbnb'd it. He's saying that he spent too much at HomeSense with me. Curbside drag October 24th. So see, it says Jeshua. His name's Josh, but it says Jeshua. October 24th at 6 p.m. So that's in North York. Everybody. Thanks, Jordan. You're beautiful also. Beautiful mama, beautiful lady, regardless if your mom beautiful. Thank you. So I just said about the guy giving at McDonald's. So next we have a question from Brent in Queensville. And Brent says, or asks, I should say, which by the way, if you guys don't want to write on here, hi Tyler, you can like write in the comments here, or you can write them to me privately and I'll answer them next week. Or if I get too many, I will just, reach out to you guys or whatever. So Brent from Queensville said, with Thanksgiving and Christmas and Halloween nearing sooner than later, do you expect to see the real estate market to quiet down? Thank you, Brent, for asking. Obviously, it's not going to be like Christmas Eve and our phones are going to blow up and they're going to be like, I want to see 40 houses. However, it is kind of, over the holidays that people have more time off of work and they do tend to get out driving, whether looking at the colors or they're out, skiing with their family or something, and they're like, they see how much they're renting their spot for, say, for example, in Blue Mountain or Horseshoe Valley or whatever, and they're like, maybe we should buy up here, buy a second property, refinance our house in Toronto or Oakville or wherever we live and buy up here. So we still do see a lot of turnover in, the winter months and so forth. But basically our crazy spring turned into a crazy, basically late summer, early fall, which is continuing on still. It was a bit quieter over Thanksgiving weekend, but it's heated up again this week. So how much it'll go down, in the winter, I don't know exactly, just because obviously we're not a regular year. But we still have lack of inventory and still tons of demand. So people are still trying to take advantage of the low interest rates. They're still realizing that the houses that they live in maybe are not the best size for them. Or they could get a house that's $200,000 more and keep their payment around the same because they were locked in at a much higher rate, so they can pay, their 3 months penalty, if depending again, obviously if they're fixed or variable mortgage, and get into a nicer home. So people are still moving. So anyways, thank you for asking. Hi Tiff. Hi Steve. Hi Tyler. You like that story, Grimmelby? So thank you, yes, Brent, for asking. What do we have next? Okay, so obviously tons of weddings have been canceled. My friend's wedding was supposed to be last week in Mayan Riviera, which was obviously canceled. But besides, destination weddings being canceled, obviously local weddings have been canceled. However, have you ever heard of somebody wearing a dress made of a parachute? Probably not. So there's a couple, and so I don't say their names wrong, Ruth and Claude, got married, and he's a pilot, and he was flying, and one of the engines caught on fire, and just a small plane, not like with 200 people or whatever. So they obviously had to exit the plane, and so the parachute that basically saved his life, he said that he wanted to have the wedding dress made for Ruth from that parachute, because he said, the parachute saved his life, and she basically saved his life with her love. So they made the wedding dress out of the parachute. So I thought that was super cute because I'm corny for that kind of stuff. This was not recently. This was in 1947, but that's okay. Their daughter got married wearing that dress, and their daughter-in-law got married wearing that dress, and now it's like in a museum. He passed in 96, but I still thought it was a cute love story. So that's what I'm sharing with you anyways before we get to the real estate stuff. Hello, Samantha. Hi, Angie. How are you? I'm sure, Angie, it's beautiful up in your neck of the woods. Angie's in Muskoka, and Samantha's on a lovely farm. She's a brilliant photographer if you need a photographer. Hi, Comey. Hi, Pete. You like all the stories, Grimmelby? You're emotional today? I think I said already hi to Pete, but thank you guys for tuning in. Okay, so next question comes from Carl and Barrie. Again, you guys can write questions in here if you want, or these are ones that have come in throughout the week. So Carl said, I've had a number of massive changes in my life lately: divorce, weight loss, job demotion, etc. How do I stay positive and not give up when all the odds seem to be against me? Um, Thank you, Carl, for writing in. Just when I look at the things that you wrote, you said divorce, weight loss, and job demotion. So most times people say weight loss is a good thing, unless like somebody has an eating disorder or something and you're trying to gain weight, but that one doesn't seem like a bad thing. Divorce, maybe it seems bad right now, but maybe you lost yourself in the divorce and now you can find yourself and find, what, not activities, but you know what I mean? Like what things you kind of forgot about because you were so in the relationship, and you can be, I remember that I really liked racing cars, or I remember that I really liked hiking or working out or helping young people, and you want to start volunteering for something. And the demotion of your job, maybe you could go to a job that maybe is a pay, decrease because you've already done that, but maybe it's one you like more. So I would just, I've said before of what you listen to and what you watch and so forth. So I saw my mom on the weekend, and she was talking about they're watching some show that's about aliens taking over the world. So obviously if you're watching something like that and then you go to bed, it's kind of weird right before you go to bed, as opposed to like listening to a positive podcast or YouTube, or journaling, or saying what you're grateful for, or doing like a 3-month, 6-month, year plan, basically of what you want in life and where you want to be and so forth. I think are more productive things to do first thing in the morning, or right before you go to bed. So I would just make sure you focus on those two aspects. And again, just how you look at your situation, instead of looking at saying, I'm stuck because of COVID, you can say, I'm safe because of COVID, I'm being healthy because of COVID, I'm getting more sleep, I'm eating more healthy, I'm more conscious of, my working out schedule and so forth. So just the way you look at things, I think, is helpful and smart. But thank you for writing in. Why are you calling me Cliff Clavin? Okay, so that was Carl. So let's see who was after Carl. One last thing before real estate is basically don't beat yourself up if you are addicted or watching YouTube or TikTok or whatever of cute animals, whether that be cats or pigs or dogs or llamas or emus or whatever, because they just did a study in University of Leeds, which is in England. And so basically they had all these people, and right before an exam, 90 minutes before an exam, they made them watch a video for 30 minutes of like animals and puppies and so forth. And over 50% of them, their blood pressure went down. So at the beginning, their blood pressure the average was 136/88. And then after watching the 30 minutes of the cute puppies and so forth, it was 115/71, which is a much better rate to be in. So their blood pressure went down, their anxiety went down, their stress levels went down. What else happened? Their mood went up, their heart rate went down, their anxiety went down. So if you feel like watching a little bit of some llamas or cute whatever, horses or whatever floats your boat of animals before you go to bed, I am okay with that as well, because it was just proven that it is better for your health. Okay? Okay, so now we're doing real estate. Before I do, one thing of real estate is just a reminder, the $1,000 giveaway, because I know not everybody was on the live at the beginning. You can nominate anybody you like. Just send your video to info@crippshomes.com, and every single month we give away $1,000 on the first of the month, and we knock on somebody's door. They can have no relation to us whatsoever in regards to Cripps Realty, and so far all of the winners have not been in relation to Cripps Realty. They've never done a deal with us. We haven't known them at all, so that is awesome. So nominate whoever you want, as long as they live in Simcoe County and long as they're over the age of 18, okay? The end of that. So real estate. So a lot of people have been saying, what's going on with the market. It's still crazy. We still have no inventory. We still have tons of demand. So that is it in a short Coles Notes version of what's going on. CMHC, which is the Canadian, Mortgage and Housing, Canadian Corporation of Mortgage and Housing. I think I missed a letter, but I didn't there the second time. They're still like doom and gloom. So back in May, they said that the market was going to go down 40%, which, as all of you know, it did not, and it went up. Now they're saying it's going to go down 9 to 18%. And Moody's Analytics, and they, check things often. They make predictions and so forth. They're thinking that 2020 it's going to go down 7%. However, there's thousands of other economists that are saying that it's going to go up, that's not going to go down, and they're just saying basically because of our sustainable demand and our extreme lack of availability that it's going to continue on. The interest rates being low until expected to be 2023, that our fall market's going to continue into winter and so forth, and we're not going to have a dip. So that is what they are saying. And what else? Oh yeah, they did say the best markets, which is good for us, or at least myself, because I live here, depending where you're watching from, is Ontario and British Columbia, which is good. And then some of the in-between provinces and more oil-related, they're going to have a bit of a dip. And dip-wise will also be in rentals. So let's just say the average rent in a certain city was $3,000. It might go down to $2,000 or $2,200. So rentals will be less, but they're not expecting to see a dip in real estate, which is great for those of you that own, not if you're trying to get into the market. On a random note, last month, new home sales, so just brand new builds, not resale, brand new builds in Canada were up 217% over last year, which is crazy high. And then when we look at just Ontario, they were up 355%. And then over their 10-year average, it was up 139%, which, as anybody has watched these before, I keep saying that real estate is crazy and busy and booming. So that is another example of that. And then condos as well, of Ontario as a whole, they were up 159% more condos were sold in basically the third quarter, so up until October 1st. And then they were 106% higher than the 10-year average that they have had in sales. And also, if you guys think that Barrie is expensive, the average new condo in Toronto is $972, which is insane because that is so much higher than our average detached house. So $972, and over the past 12 months, the average condo has gone up 15.7% in Ontario. Sometimes I do just like local statistics in Simcoe, and sometimes I do Ontario. Sometimes I do national. Sometimes I do all of the above. So just so you're aware. And then the average home in Toronto, Barrie, Toronto, the average home is $1,169,000 and change, which is up 8% from what it was last year. And then, so not just like 2020 as a whole, but basically as a third quarter, which ended October 1st, from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, economists are thinking that the market in Ontario is going to go up 8.5% more. So not as an entire year of 2020, but just that quarter, that much more. So that is amazing, again, for everybody that owns, not for those that don't own and are trying to get in. It is frustrating, so I apologize to those. And basically they're just thinking it's pent-up demand still from everybody that was in March and April that normally is buying in the spring market, and then they were frustrated, and then they're still all wanting to buy. And then that's going to keep our record numbers up in the fall. And nationally, so again, I said sometimes I say nationally. So nationally in 2020, in the fourth quarter, the average sales price in all of Canada was $647,000. And in 2020, the economists are thinking that it's going to be $693,000. So again, $693,000 up from $647,000, which is 7% higher is what they're expecting. And besides, in the past, I've said, recently that people just want bigger yards and they want a home office space and maybe somewhere to homeschool their children and so forth. Another thing that people and trends they found is instead of like going out and buying I can't say the word, frivolously, you know that word, whatever that word is. They're instead putting more money into their house. So whether it's an accent wall or a new kitchen or a new bathroom or finishing the basement or doing that staycation backyard, they're putting more money into their house, which is great for obviously when they go to sell it because, it has more square footage, or it has that fence now, or it has updated lighting or so forth. So more people are trending towards that instead of just spending all this money. It's just, again, a side note, and I come across random things. Toronto has the most cranes in all of North America right now. So it has 124 cranes, which makes up 30% of all the cranes in North America. And the second biggest crane amount is in Seattle, and they have 10%. But that just shows like how much Toronto is still redeveloping, rebuilding, putting new condos in and so forth. And that brings me to my next point, which is the second tallest building in Canada. They started to break ground on it a couple weeks ago in Toronto. It's going to be 1,025 feet. So the only thing that is taller than that is the CN Tower, which is over 300 meters. So it's going to be up above the clouds. There's going to be, but over 800 condos in it, varying from 520 square feet to 2,300 square feet. They didn't say any prices. I can guess it would be expensive because obviously to have a view, from 95 stories would be amazing. Probably take you forever in the elevator to get there. But anyways, so I thought that was cool. One, that we have tons of, cranes in Toronto and things are still developing and building, as well as that building is neat. And that's at 1 Yonge Street, by the way. And the developer is building 3 condos there, 3 different towers. The first one is 65 stories, and then that 95 story. I don't know how tall the third one is, but it's called Sky Tower. Hi Devo, how are you? Hi Jay. Hi Rob. I saw your wife the other day, Rob. Hi William. Oops, my fingers. What is therapy, Grimmelby? Okay. Okay, so I was saying about quarters. So basically our third quarter is July 1st to September 30th, even though we're a couple weeks into October. It takes a while to I'm missing somewhere. Yes. It froze again. Not again, that was the first time today. But so in the third quarter in all of Simcoe County, there was, in 2019, in the third quarter, there was 2,153 houses that sold, okay? So 2,100 and change. In this year's third quarter, there was 3,344 that sold. So 2,100 to 3,300 in this quarter. That was up, by the way, 55.3%. And then when we look at just Barrie, there was, in the third quarter last year, there was 659 houses that sold. This year, there was 1,021 that sold, which is up 54.9%. And then when we look at all of Simcoe and we take Barrie out of the equation in the third quarter, there was 1,494 homes that sold last year. And this year in the third quarter, there was 2,323 homes that sold. And then if we look at the price, this third quarter versus last year's third quarter, so in all of Simcoe County, 2019, the average price was $503,000 and change. This year it was $616, so 503 to 616. When we do just Barrie, last year the average price was $491. This year the average price is $574, which is 16.8% higher. And then when we do all of Simcoe, but we take out Barrie, last year the average sales price was $508, and this year it's $634. So, like I said, everything's moving and grooving and going up. Okay, so in Barrie, in the last 7 days, there's been 42 new listings. 36 of them conditionally sold, 65 sold firm. And if somebody again says, there's only 42 new listings, how can 65 sell? That's because 42 were new doesn't mean that there weren't some old stragglers from last week or the week before. Okay, so that's what happened in Barrie. I will go to another question before I do more numbers because sometimes I don't like all the numbers together. So this is from Monique from New Lowell. So Monique says, my kids are at the ages that they have full or part-time jobs. How can I convince them home ownership is the way to go when I don't even own myself, so they can't go off of my example? Well, thank you, Monique, for asking and wanting them to get into home ownership. I would literally just get a calculator and show it to them. So you could say hey, mom's rent is $2,200, times that by a year, times that by the 5 years we've lived here, and then let's just say you lived somewhere before for $1,400 a month. For 15 years, I'd literally just show them and be I spent X money. I don't know how much that makes, but let's just say I spent $500,000, for example. So you're I spent $500,000, which is gone, I don't have. And if I had paid down my mortgage of $500,000, I'd have that, right? But then that house would have gone up in value. So I would literally just show them all, show them exactly how much it'll cost them for rent. If they rent for this many years. And then you say houses back in the day, when I was paying $1,400 for rent, again, I'm just making those numbers up, but $1,400 for rent, those houses used to be $60,000. Now those houses are $700,000, for example. Again, I don't know how long you've been renting for. or what area, but I would literally just show them and say, so not only did I spend 500,000 on rent, that house would be worth 700,000 now, and I'd have no mortgage, right? So I'd literally show them like you had 1.2 million or whatever it works out to be. So I would just show them that black and white, and hopefully that puts a fire under their butt. So thank you for asking. So now we have this guy. I don't know how many of you are on TikTok. But there was a guy, and he was on his way to work, and he had a 15-year-old truck, and his truck broke down. And I like anybody who's got like hustle, but also who doesn't go like, it's my luck, like, the universe is crapping on me, and it's universe is out to get me, and it's why me and whatever, that mentality that they just think everything bad, the glass is half empty kind of thing. So instead of thinking that way, he grabbed, his cranberry juice, he grabbed his cell phone, and he had a longboard in his truck, which is like a skateboard, because his truck broke down a lot, and he literally just took a skateboard to work, and he was like all in a good mood, and he took a video of a Fleetwood Mac song, and he just like went, took a drink of his drink, sang a little bit, and it's had over 34 million views in 3 weeks. The cranberry juice people that he was drinking the cranberry juice have bought him a brand new truck, and Fleetwood Mac has called him, and all these people are sending him money basically to do sponsorships and like drink their thing and whatever. And so basically, I just think being in a positive mood, you never know how far it can get you, and you shouldn't be nasty. I don't like nasty people and negative people, so try and be positive whenever you can. So that's why I shared that story. And his name, by the way, was Nathan Apodaca, and he was on his way to a potato processing plant, which is where he worked. He's 37, he's got 2 kids, and he lives in a motorhome. I don't think he will for long, but anyways, that is his story, and yeah, over 35 million in 3 weeks, so it's pretty cool. But just because he's positive, he didn't let that ruin his day. Hi, Bradley. You got cranberry juice. Hi, Bill. Hi, Douglas. Hi, David. Okay. Who do we have now? I think we have a question. Okay. So Kelly and Phil wrote in from Collingwood. We are a small business, just the 2 of us, and we predominantly build gazebos, pergolas, sometimes sheds, and so forth. Do you have any pointers to get us in front of more sellers and buyers' eyes, or just build our brand? Thank you, Kelly and Phil, for writing in. Yeah, like honestly, I would just post things on social media, right? Like that girl that posted about that guy that paid for her maybe $14 kids thing at McDonald's. Like last night, I ended up somehow on a page of a couple, and they live in New Orleans, and I was watching like renovations of their house and like a road trip they went on and whatever. So if you can like document everything, here's this gazebo that you guys did, and with all the hangy string lights, and here's all the junk out on the yard, and now it's nicely tucked away in the shed, or here's like a pool shed, and you do like little stories with it, and do you know what I mean, make it fun and interactive. A lot of people will remember that and maybe share that, or say they're at a friend's house that weekend, or they're talking to a friend, and their friend says like, oh, we're thinking about getting our gazebo redone, or we're thinking about getting this or getting that. They might say like, oh, I remember this cute couple I saw the other day on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, or literally post as much stuff as you can, and just show stories along the way of all the stuff that you guys have been doing. And then it's not something that you could like give for free to a realtor, like, oh, I'll give you a gazebo, unless they're movable. You give one for an open house if you could, that would be cool. But actually we don't do open houses right now, so disregard that. Maybe after COVID you could do that, but I would literally just share as much as you can on social media sites and build a brand for yourself that way. Just like photographers, when they don't have any clients, they do a bunch of stuff for free. So just build for free right now until you don't have to do that anymore, but it's still good to always keep it going. So you don't like basically get their check and run away and never do anything again. They can keep watching the story, especially if somebody's been watching you for a few months and then you disappear and they were about to refer you. So anyways, that's what I would do. Thank you for writing in though. Where am I here? Dun, 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 dun. TikTok I did. Supposedly, obviously we're in the fall. People are happier in the fall. So 56% of people say that the fall is their favorite season. And the three main things that they like about the fall are watching the fall colors, wearing cozy sweaters. What was the other thing? I don't know why, but drinking hot chocolate. I like hot chocolate, but anyways. Oh, and the other thing was like the crispness of the air. So people like fall better. And another thing that was pretty close to the top of the list was upcoming holidays. So they like planning, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Halloween, and so forth. And 9 out of the 20 reasons that people picked or listed had to do with food or cooking. So cooking soup, making cookies, and so forth. And 35% of people said they liked wearing fluffy socks. I have like my fluffy socks on. So anyways, they also like cozy pajamas, so they're happier. 56% people said fall was their favorite and it made them happy. So I'm just sharing that. And Barrie. So, hi Dakota, hi Lena. I liked your picture. We haven't actually picked the winner yet. Hi Rodney. Oops, my finger. Hi Colin. Okay. So Carl is from Barrie, and Carl wrote in. No, I read that already. I read that one already. Maybe I missed a different one. Maybe not. Oh yeah, here I found it. I did Carl's already. Janice from Wasaga Beach. So Janice said, my son and daughter live with me and are saving a good chunk of down payment for their first house. He works in Brampton and she works in Elmvale. Where do you think the most bang for their buck? Thank you, Janice, for writing in. I don't know the Brampton market well, to be honest. Obviously, it's more expensive than up here. So, I mean, I think it would make more sense to buy something more reasonable, especially for their first house. So their payments aren't so crazy. My stepmom told me something a really long time ago, which was like, if you can pay your bills in 1 week of your wage, then you're laughing, because if you need like 3 weeks of your wage to pay your bills, but then your car breaks, or you need a new roof, or your basement leaks, or whatever, then you're really strapped on cash. So if they can do something more affordable, but maybe they can buy in Brampton, but they could have a basement apartment, they could rent it out for added, income or something like that. But I mean, their insurance would be cheaper up north too. So I would but I'm glad that they're getting into home ownership, but probably north would make more sense financially. And he would just commute. Maybe he could work from home a couple days a week. I don't know. But thank you for writing in. So I have one more thing, and the $1,000 giveaway. Again, I'm just harping into people's minds. There was, again, we do a $1,000 giveaway every month. You do not have to know us whatsoever. You just have to send a video to info@crippshomes.com. Again, info@crippshomes.com, and say, hey, I'm Kristin. I want Brad to win. Brad's super awesome and cool, and that's it. And then send it to us. So there's this girl named Jordan Reeves. She's 14, and when she was 10, she went to this thing basically about disabilities, because when she was born with just under her left elbow stopped. She has no left hand. So basically they went there and they're talking about like creative ways to deal with your disability. And she thought, instead of like superheroes like shooting webs or shooting spears or whatever from their arms, that she would shoot glitter. So she called it Project Unicorn, and she made like this prosthetic thing that shoots glitter from her left arm or hand. And she ended up going on like Rachel Ray, and she did a TED Talk, and she went on Shark Tank, and got quite a lot of popularity. But instead of just like ending at that and being like, hey, there was my 15 minutes of fame, herself and her mother made a non-profit organization called Born Just Right. And basically they, help younger people under the age of 18 with disabilities, go after their dreams and so forth. So that is always awesome. She's also written a book as well. Hi, Paul. Hi, Dakota. I did my real estate section already, so if you were popping in for real estate, I apologize, but this does stay on my wall forever. It doesn't disappear after the live ends. So I went over for all the numbers, the third quarter, what's been selling, and so forth. I didn't do like Innisfil and whatever, and I do have that. But if you guys want that, just let me know and I'll put it in. Hi, Dwayne. Ta-da. I will message that to you guys. But anyways, I'm going to skedaddle. I have to go show a house in Essa. So have a great evening and thank you for popping in. And again, vote for somebody or 20 people for the $1,000 giveaway. Have a great night, guys. Bye.